This episode contains sensitive topics. Discretion is advised.
All right, before we do anything else, I'm going to open this last pack from 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Oh, there's something shiny back there.
It's probably going to sound terrible on the audio. You're welcome.
Oh, I got an SR. Okay, I'll take an SR. Not quite the top rarity, but we take those.
Yeah, it's not cool unless it's an SSR, okay?
I don't think Weiss Schwartz has SSRs.
Oh.
No, just SP. Yeah, I just she has no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Do you play what? You know what Weiss Schwartz is?
Nope.
Nigga, I was not talking to you.
No, I've just played. Oops. I've just played some of the gacha games, and they usually have the R, the SR, the SSR. I played the Love Life game for a while, and that one has
Oh my
those.
god, how the fuck did you do that?
I love music. I'm really good with rhythm.
Man, I just don't like how that system works. That's all.
Fair.
We are going to talk about gacha games here, though. Hi, welcome back to the Lusty Lounge. How are you? We've missed you. And we're going to talk about how things have gotten horny over the last 60 years. And we're going to talk about this with my great co-host, Minka.
Hello.
And Puce.
What's going on?
Yup, we're going to talk about being horny and how things have gotten horny. I panicked because I pulled a not bad card, so yup.
Particularly when it comes to kind of mainstream media, yeah?
All media, yep, all of it.
All media, yeah. There we go.
Because it all has gotten super fucking. WAP is it WAP? Isn't that what the fucking song's called?
Yeah.
WAP is a song you can listen to. So listen, even music was like, fuck it, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you say that, but it's just more out in the open now. I've listened to some songs from the 50s, and they were pretty vulgar.
Yeah, but they're not in your face about it. They're a little more discreet. They're more musically inclined. WAP is not. Not telling me WAP is.
To be fair, I've never listened to the song, so I don't know.
Oh, really? It's
I don't know.
Kind of basic.
Yeah, I'm surprised you've been able to
Escape
not hear it. Yeah.
Bro, it's still the best. The Kids Bop version is still the best version. That shit makes me laugh so fucking hard.
I did hear Ben Shapiro sing some of it, and that was pretty good too. I thought
Man,
that was
people
hilarious.
don't like him. People really don't like him.
I know,
'cause
that's
he's
why
a
it was hilarious
shithead.
to listen to him sing that.
Because he doesn't think that vaginas are supposed to be wet.
Listen, if he needs his wife fucked, hit me up. I will be of service.
His sister's pretty hot too.
I didn't know he had a sister.
Yeah, she got pregnant and she's got big boobs now.
Did the Kids Bop version use the radio edit with wet and gushy?
I'd have to look into that because I heard that 3 years ago. No, oh god, no. How long have I been out of college?
How old is WAP? That is the question.
Whap, whap, whap.
Anyway, I'm the host.
Oh, it's only
I'm
2
supposed
years
to
old.
figure out.
We're not that old yet.
Man, I feel fucking old now. I gotta figure out where we're gonna start. Earlier in our pre-opening, yeah, you open the restaurant. Talk. We talked about how the Flintstones. Mika mentioned the Flintstones. Talk about the Flintstones, please.
Yes. So the Flintstones actually have often been credited as the first married couple to be seen in bed together on TV. But
What? Really?
Yes. It was too promiscuous to even.
That sounded so disingenuous.
We're talking live action and cartoons?
Yes.
No, wait, really?
Yes.
No way.
But
That's crazy.
Okay, but hold on. But they were not actually the first. That was in 1960 as the Flintstones. There are actually a few shows that did show that before them. Mary Kay and Johnny, back from 1947.
Thought you were going to say Ashley. I was going to be like, hold on.
Mary Kate and Ashley.
Bro, they aren't even the hot ones. Their third sister is way more attractive than them. Let's talk about that later.
I Love Lucy in 1955.
I know that show.
Yeah.
Never seen it, though.
And then The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet in 1952. So there were 3 that technically did it before, but it seems like each of those was like possibly one episode. So it definitely was not a common thing, but Flintstones was within the first 5 to show a couple in bed on TV.
Damn, they work fast.
And the first cartoon. So
yeah,
at least
and
it's
the
got
first
that title.
cartoon.
The first cartoon ever. There were no other cartoons before the Flintstones
that shared a bed with their couple. But yeah, so that kind of goes to show that, like, when especially TV started, when the TV was invented and started becoming a thing, they were very, I don't know if uptight's the right word, but they were very careful not to show anything that could be construed as too sexual or would cause
imagine
uproar.
thinking seeing a couple in bed is sexual.
Right?
You guys want a little side note?
Yeah.
The dude that invented the TV fucking hates it.
He hates the TV?
Yes. I think the quote is, it's ruined the world.
It has.
Because people just watch TV. And I'm like, huh.
So he feels
he has a point.
The same way about inventing TV that Einstein has about helping invent the nuclear bomb.
Yes, except, well, they're both super detrimental to TV, to the world, but TV won't.
Right. It wasn't as directly deadly as the atomic bomb. I did not know that, so that is interesting.
I learned that in college for my media in my media class, actually.
That would be.
I feel like that would be where you learn it.
That would be hard to live with, though. Like, knowing that
the thing you made is responsible for just the brain rot of humanity. Yeah.
Or at least feeling responsible for that.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't program or make what is shown on TV, but
man, that's crazy to think about.
But yeah, so that was a big thing to show couples in bed together, and it looks like a lot of it came from the idea of people getting upset that these were 2 actors that were sleeping in the same bed, and it's like, oh, well, they're not married, like, that's so scandalous. And so it was like such a big deal because people have always been sexual, but of course in the public eye there have been many times where it has been like being openly sexual was extremely looked down on. Like, think about the why can't I think of it? Not the pioneers, but the
Protestants.
Yeah, like the Protestants. Well, is that right? Like, I don't know.
Are you thinking the old religious people?
Yeah, I think so. Like the kind that did the witch hunts and stuff. Okay, Protestants. So, even like there are times in society where it's been like that, where any sort of sexuality is so repressed that like to even talk about it, can get you killed. Because all of a sudden, if you're a woman and you're not just accepting your role as a woman in the society to be, submissive and to support and to talk about your pleasure, all of a sudden you're a witch or you're this or that or problematic or whatever. So it's, I feel like it's kind of left over from a lot of those societal pressures and stuff that led into the early 40s, the 50s, the 60s.
I can see that, yeah.
I mean, even to the point that, like Bill Clinton got a blowjob and was impeached for it. because that sort of promiscuity and cheating was still considered such a big factor and such a big faux pas in society. And then
it's crazy. That's crazy,
right? And then you have Trump, who's done all sorts of terrible things, even sexually, and like
didn't get impeached until something stupid. It wasn't even. It was something stupid he got impeached for. Well, he didn't get impeached. It was what he got.
He did get impeached.
He did.
Yep.
Oh, man!
You don't have to step down for being impeached.
Man, it took all that shit for him to get impeached, and my other dude just got his dick sucked one time. And
the House impeached him.
Crazy.
Yeah, the House impeached him, but the Senate didn't. So it really goes to show that like there has been this evolution of sexuality, and of course you've had people who weren't afraid to push boundaries from the beginning, and some were received differently than others, but like nowadays, like you mentioned, the song WAP or WAP, however it's pronounced, is openly about, a wet-ass pussy. And it has won like 7 platinum awards.
I feel like that's our fault. That as a society, that's our fault. Song's not even that good.
I love how most like people on the right hate it because it's about wet-ass pussy, and then there's all who's like, it's just not a good song.
It's not a good song.
I feel like that's how I feel about the Beatles, is it's like, I appreciate what they did for music, but like their version of their songs I don't really like.
Okay, but like the Beatles were like, they were technically a good band. Like on a technical level, they did things that worked.
Yeah, I guess for their time, yeah.
Well, yeah, for their time, they revolutionized a sound for their time. WAP's not doing all that. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
You want to talk about like how music has gotten music has gotten progressively more horny, because I feel as though in the 90s they were talking about having sex, but they were doing it more tactfully.
I feel like that's only the songs that became societally popular. Because I vaguely remember watching a video that talks about like a lot of lesser known songs from bands that like had the sexual songs of the 90s that were like a lot more sexual than you realize.
I mean, they are, but they're good songs, so it's fine? We're willing to overlook it.
Because I would agree with that, because there are also a lot of those songs that are good songs that, were about like doing meth or cocaine or like
you mean like the Kids Bop, the one song that got a Kid Choice Award about doing cocaine? Yeah, it's
from
crazy.
The Weeknd. Yeah. And so like, yeah, some songs get popular and people don't even realize what they were about, but yeah, like think about Madonna. She's been a very sexual singer.
Forgetting about that bitch.
Yeah.
Shit.
So she was putting out sexual stuff a long time ago.
I do be forgetting about that. Mostly okay, this is gonna sound super fucking racist, and it kind of is, but it isn't. My mom really likes a certain radio station, so that's all I listened to growing up whenever we would go places in the car, and that was my exposure to music, is everything's just R&B and about love making, and I'm like, I don't like this. I like the music, I don't like the words.
What's R&B stand for?
Rhythm and blues.
And honestly,
that makes so much sense.
Like I don't have a lot of knowledge on this, so I don't want to talk into it too much, because I don't want to like end up saying something
wrong.
stupid.
It's fine.
But
no, it's fine. Be
like
wrong.
I
It's
do
okay.
feel like particularly black people were actually some of the trendsetters with this, with like the jazz, and there were lobby singers that were singing these fairly lewd songs, and I feel like they were doing it more than white people, at least in America, were for
I can tell you.
a long time.
And then that music got covered by white people. It became
I was
popular.
gonna say, because it was more, look at the darky. That darky's singing real good. Don't know what he's saying, but ooh, I like his voice. I'm over here like, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Because isn't like Elvis like super infamous for stealing tons of songs from black people.
Yes.
Well, I wonder too.
Allegedly.
I wonder too if it has something to do with the fact that, our society in America tended to highly sexualize black people as well. And so, they kind of were just going off of that for their own advantage or because they felt they had to. I don't know. I actually would be curious to learn more about that, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was a part of it.
I mean, we can have a fetishizing races episode, maybe. Gonna have to tread that line real careful, but
right.
We can do it.
We may have to get more color on the podcast for that episode.
What color would you like, Puce?
Less white, because me and Minka got that covered.
I think it would be good to find...
We have to get an Asian person. We have to.
That's what I was going to say, is get someone of Asian descent.
Well, I just meant anybody in particular, because Minka and I make up 2/3 of this podcast, so it's very white.
Aren't you half Mexican?
No, it's 10%.
The man, that's still more than zero.
Yeah, but if you look at me, I am definitely white.
You could tell you're white, but you could tell there's something else in there. Don't know what, but it's something. That's why I asked you the one time if you.
I am 1% African.
That okay?
Does that give me the N-word pass?
No, it does not.
I can tell you as a white person, no, it doesn't.
You know what? Give me a copy of your 23andMe or Ancestry. I'll sign off on it. You get one. You get a one-time use. But I gotta sign off on it first.
Okay. Consider it done.
All right, you guys want to talk about other horny live-action TV now?
One of the other things that I had thought about is the fact that one of the first places you could get porn was one of the first places was probably VHS, but then they had all the pay-per-view stuff where you could watch it on TV. You just had to pay for it, and nowadays you can see full sex scenes depending on what network you're watching. If you're watching something on HBO, you're going to see uncensored sex in some shows, sometimes even on Netflix. So it's been a huge change from that being pretty locked down and behind a paywall to fairly open and essentially still behind a paywall, because most of the time it is going to be in a service that you have to pay for. But it has been a big change and at least appears to have become more socially acceptable. And I think that has a lot to do with, that I think the feminist movement is a large part of it, because women are now able to talk about how they are sexual and how they have sexual needs. And so instead of it being this thing where sex is always behind closed doors and it's all about marriage and a man and a woman, it's now opened up into this thing where it's oh no, we all have sex and we all enjoy it. It doesn't need to be a taboo thing. It's a part of the human experience. And so I think that has slowly started to change things. And I think there's still, obviously, a long ways to go, but we have come quite a ways from where things were in the earlier half of the 1900s.
I'm sorry. Why did you pause after you said come?
I don't know. My subconscious does weird things, okay? I still didn't know that I had said the maid thing until you sent it to me. My brain is a child, okay?
I mean, I'm the one laughing over here because you said the word come.
I didn't even notice.
You're a failure. I mean, I understood everything you said, but I was gonna go for more the bullshit that is reality TV and how, man, I'm so glad I don't have cable anymore.
Is reality TV still a thing?
Yes.
Because I know it was huge in the 2000s.
MTV is still around.
We don't talk about MTV right now. Well, we will talk about TLC and all the bullshit they produce. God, I wish I had put my degree to use and actually worked at TLC. I'd have way more fucking money.
You'd be making millions there.
It's like they're still making like The Bachelors, aren't they?
Oh no! I mean, we're not gonna talk about that. That pains my soul. But no, 90 Day Fiance is like one of the top rated shows, and I'm like,
oh, and the
why?
Love at First Sight shit.
Yup, my mom loved that shit. And I'm like, this was bad TV for one. Two, I'm only like half paying attention because this lady's titties are out.
Yeah.
They knew how to bring in the ratings.
Well, see, and I guess that is the weird thing, is it went from, like we can't even hint at sex to, at some point the corporations, the corporations being like, oh, sex sells. Okay, let's do it.
Because like, this is going to make me sound like a really bad person, but I never claimed to be a good person. Normally, when these shows are being watched by the people in my house, I'm just like, man, this is cut poorly. This is produced shittily. Like, I am, as a person with knowledge, like this kills me. But like, as a horny late 20-something-year-old, I'm just like, her titties are kind of huge. Her voice is abysmal, but her boobs are big. I'll keep paying attention until they cut off.
Yeah,
that's all they want. That's literally all they want, because it helps with ratings. And I'm like, damn, I helped the machine. No, not like this.
Yeah, they generally tend to pick certain types of people for those kinds of shows, and then also edit it in ways to make it seem like they're behaving however they want them to best boost ratings.
Yeah, because half of the conversations you see on TV are not the conversation that actually happened. Just FYI. Sorry to break that immersion for you. But yeah,
they're either very scripted or cut together to...
Yeah, they will usually have chosen the different roles for the different people from the beginning, and basically, like, if they've chosen somebody to be the asshole, they're going to be like, okay, this is your role, so we need you to kind of play that up, or else, you're gone and you won't get any more money.
Oh, this is definitely not sexualization of TV, but did you guys know in like the wife swap shows, there's several couples who ended up getting divorced, and a few who have like committed suicide?
What the fuck?
That actually wouldn't surprise me, because like, again, there were certain types of couples they tended to go after, but a lot of them did seem to have marital issues already present. And so
it was just like, when I found that out, I was like, holy crap, they must have cut that together horribly to make these people look terrible.
Yeah, they like, for them to see essentially something else that either is possibly better or possibly worse is probably going to help them get a better perspective on their own life and realize the things they are and aren't okay with. So I could see that leading to a lot of divorces.
Well, that wasn't even really the usual reasons. It was usually just because like the trauma and like drama that was drummed up from being put on TV and portrayed a certain way, like, ruined people's lives.
Oh, yeah, that also would make sense. Because you're put in, the whole world's view, and so then if anybody ever sees you and recognizes you and they've made you out to be this terrible person, they're going to treat you like they think you are based on what they saw in the show.
Correct. No, I didn't know anything. I forgot Wife Swap was a show that existed until you said something. Jesus Christ.
Once you brought up reality TV, it reminded me that that show existed, and then I remembered the video I watched about it.
Got you. But like, I was gonna go back to like, let's switch to sitcoms here for a second. The last sitcom I like actively remember watching is Modern Family.
Okay.
I remember the oldest daughter was the bimbo, but dark hair and not curvy, I think. I don't fucking remember.
Oh, I was like, are you talking about the Gloria, whatever her name is?
No, the mom.
You were talking about the kids.
Gloria. Ooh. once Alex hit puberty, the show was like, well, might as well capitalize on her new body and hormones. And I'm like, I don't remember Alex, showing this much skin.
And she hated it.
Yeah, she did hate it. She hated it a lot. But like, if let's go to something like Friends. Also, kind of horny, not super horny, but like they would fuck.
Jennifer Aniston's nipples were definitely on show for that one.
But the show wasn't like pushing that.
Right.
And then if we go back like a few more years to like Martin and something else, nothing too bad. Maybe a scene of people in bed, but that's kind of it.
Maybe they kissed. Like, oh no.
I'm just like, yeah, things just kind of got progressively more, I wouldn't say okay, but they got less taboo. Let's go with that. Yeah, that's a good word to use. And I thought that was interesting. And that's why we're talking about it, because I don't have cable TV anymore, and I wanted to talk about stuff. We're gonna get to video games. Don't and anime. Don't you worry. We're getting there.
I really feel like a lot of it, of the acceptance, quote unquote, comes from corporations.
Really? That's not where I would have went, but okay.
Because the truth is, corporations do control a lot of what happens in our lives here in America. We are a capitalist society. So if they start to realize that, more sexuality is something that their customer base wants, that's what they're going to start to put out.
I feel like that's yes, because of the younger generation and the, that counter culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like once that hit, they were like, oh, people actually want to see this? We've been wrong this whole time? Let's make money off this thing we've been wrong about, and let's make even more money because we'll have to buy less clothes. No, that's not how it works. It's kind of how it works. It's not really how it works. But yeah, I think once the not cancel culture, that's something completely different. Counterculture hit, especially with literally the band's called the Sex Pistols. Like, that, come on. Once that like came about, everyone was like, "Oh, we're allowed to do this. It's okay. We don't have to hide things." It's like, well, you gotta hide something. You can't out here being like, I don't know, fucking pissing on people. You can't be doing all that now. What would make it name something you're into? I don't know.
You just did.
Sorry. Fuck. Name something else you're into.
That's hard to single out.
But all right, bondage. You can't be out here and like having your partner in a. You can't be out here walking your partner out here like the one Powerpuff Girls episode. You can't be doing that.
Okay, yeah. So I think that kind of ties into also that thought I had earlier about feminism being a part of it, and I would correct that and say that like it's not just feminism. There have been a lot of, like you said, the countercultures, the different things where people have started to realize that they can be open about these things. Because when I think about the kink community, like it's a lot more open now than it used to be, and there are still parts of it that are very closed off. There are still some people that keep their kink lives completely secret because they could lose their jobs, but I also know a lot of people who are very open about how kinky they are, myself included, because I don't have to worry that like I will lose my job over it, because I work with people who really don't give a shit about it. Like it's not something that affects my work. And
man, what's that like?
Yeah. So it's, where was I going with it? So it went from something that was very, very behind closed doors to now, like there's a local club here that has a fetish night once a month. And so some of the people from our community go and do different demos of things like shibari and needles and different things like that. It's becoming more open slowly but surely.
And if you ask certain groups in the world, that's what's ruining the world.
Evangelicals.
I thought you were going to... man, this last Ava movie needs to come out in theaters. It's like, what does Ava
your
have
brain
to
is
do with this?
all anime. You gotta start thinking bigger picture there.
I mean, it's $1 trillion industry. You don't get much bigger than $1 trillion, so...
Fair.
Unless you're Microsoft, who is literally just $1 trillion company, and I'm like, how does that work?
You make everything.
Microsoft does not make everything.
They make
China makes everything. But we're not gonna talk about that. We're not talking about that. I guess we can jump back to cartoons, since I feel like horny animators were like, let's see if we can sneak this past executives and censorship to see if people notice. And when people don't notice, let's keep doing it. Let's push the envelope a little bit more and more until, I don't know. I can't think of any like degenerate Western cartoons.
Looking at you, Disney.
Did you know that this isn't cartoons, but it's comic books, so close enough. The artist of Power Girl, when she originally was released in DC, slowly made her boobs bigger until people noticed and yelled at them to make them small again. Smaller.
No, because I don't fuck with comic books that aren't Batman Beyond or Static Shock.
I had heard that actually.
But yes, the artist slowly made her boobs bigger each issue until people actually started noticing and they got yelled at to make them just regular big again. So that's somewhat sexualization.
I can't remember if it
was
done as a protest by the artist or what.
No, he just felt like doing it, I think.
Fuck it, why not? Let's see what happens. Fuck around, find out.
I mean, that's usually how things are done.
You right. But no, I don't know anything about the comic book world because y'all world is stupid and convoluted, and I say that as a Kingdom Hearts fan, and a Blaze Blue fan, and a Guilty Gear fan.
Well, yeah, but half of those things that you just listed have only been around like 20 years. Most of the comic book stuff's been around almost 100 now.
Yeah, and you know, our thing starts at number 1, and it ends when it ends. There is no reboots. There are no... well, there are some retcons. Guilty Gear has some retcons.
I was going to say everything has retcons.
The original Superman is about to become public domain.
Well, let's see if it actually happens.
That's complicated.
We're just waiting for Disney and Mickey Mouse, and Disney's going to be like, nope, change the copyright law.
I was going to say, that's most of the reason why copyright law is why it is, because Disney's like, nope, we're going to spend as much money as we can to rewrite that.
Man, they should probably update. No, I don't want to have that headache. No, we ain't going to talk about that. Yeah, because I remember did you guys watch Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember the cookie episode, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Something feels off.
I'm jealous because I can't remember anything.
Man, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Cookies are a stand-in for drugs, and I'm pretty sure Frankie, that's the younger one's name, hoarded herself out
she
for
was
cookies at some
weirdly
point.
Obsessed.
They're really good. I mean, they're Girl Scout cookies, and they're oddly good, which I fucking hate.
No, they were made by her grandma.
No, they weren't. Not all of them, I think.
Pretty sure they were.
No, because she had to pay for them. So they weren't Girl Scout cookies, but they were cookies from a company. Because if her grandma was making them, why would she pay her grandma to make the cookies?
I could have sworn her grandma was making them. And she only made them like one time a year.
That's something we'd have to fact check, and my computer's not in reach. I think that's when I was like, is Frankie hot? Do I find these cartoon characters sexually attractive?
Yes. But also,
no.
I was right about the cookies. The description for the episode is, Blue comes up with a plan to buy Foster's a new roof by selling Madame Foster's special once-a-year cookies.
So why the fuck would you... Okay.
Because they were that good.
Me using my people logic in a cartoon, man.
How dare you try to use logic?
Man, you know.
Besides, every cartoon's got to have that one episode that's vaguely about drugs.
Well, and like all the time nowadays, I get those like clickbaity ads on Facebook from different things where it's like, oh, these are 50 adult jokes from the cartoons in your childhood that you didn't realize were there. And like, yeah, like they've been putting adult jokes into stuff for a long time. And most of the time you don't realize it because you watched it as a kid. And so it went over your head.
Idea.
Yeah. But they're...
You sang that. I have an anime breast milk company ad, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I thought I was weird getting the big titty anime girl apps.
My current sponsored ads are for the company I do side work for, which I'm like, why am I getting ads for this? I'm going to be there. I literally work for them. And some shit I've never heard of. I'm just like, Facebook ads are stupid. They don't work.
Yeah, every now and then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you heard me talking about that thing, so here's this. And then other times it's like, what the hell?
What in the goddamn fuck?
But yeah, like, it's always funny to me, too, when people, like, one of the ones that shows up all the time is like, oh, and Ren and Stimpy, or no, it wasn't Ren and Stimpy, Rocco's Modern Life, Rocco worked for a sex phone line, and it's like...
I feel like that's common knowledge now.
Yeah, like, it kind of was very...
I'm not gonna lie,
portrayed.
Most of those cartoons, like Ren and Stimpy and Rocco's Modern Life, I thought I made those up as a kid, eventually.
No, those are real. No.
Yeah. Well, I know that now, but like growing up, I was like, I don't know what the show is called, but it was on in the middle of the night, and it was weird.
I mean, those are mostly for adults. The kids can watch them, but those are mostly for adults.
Yeah,
I
feel
definitely
like...
didn't get those shows when I was little.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the same way. Like, anytime I tried to watch it, I just was like, this is weird.
Yeah, like a regular show. Once I turned legal? Sure, let's go with legal. God, that was 10 years ago. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, like, I always thought regular show was cool, and I watch it again when I'm older. I'm like, I didn't pick up on any of this, except the super blatant stuff. It's like, am I stupid? Was I stupid?
No,
see, I didn't like those shows because I picked up on those jokes.
Regular show's great. Chowder is also amazing.
Oh, Chowder. Did you ever watch The Adventures of Flapjack?
Okay, so...
That show was on drugs.
Man, all right. Side note, a super hard tangent. Me and my one of my ex-girlfriends got into an argument because I didn't like Flapjack. I'm like, this shit is weird and creepy, even for me. And she's like, nah, it's great. Chowder's stupid and childish. I'm like, yes, but it's funny and relatable.
I feel like they created Chowder and they were like, what if we push the boundaries a little bit further? And that's where Flapjack was.
I think Flapjack was around first.
I believe they were announced around the same time, but Flapjack came out first. Flapjack just like, that gives me trauma. That's like my Mr. Meaty for Cartoon Network. I'm like, this gives me trauma.
Yeah. That's pretty much why I didn't watch many of those shows multiple times, because those shows like had some weird stuff that I was like,
yeah, but like,
this is too far.
I love Chowder though.
Oh nope, you guys were right. 2007 for Chowder, 2008 for Misadventures
so Chowder
of
did
Flapjack.
come out first. Okay.
I just like I really enjoyed Flapjack, but I have to like made me really confused because like all the time in there, Flapjack would be like adventure, and so then Adventure Time came out. And, like, people were constantly, like, yelling adventure or, like, what time is it? Adventure Time. And I was so fucking confused because nobody I would ask knew what the misadventures of Flapjack was. I was like, what are you talking about?
It got overshadowed.
It did.
I mean, okay, Adventure Time's a fucking phenomenal cartoon. But, like, I'm too scared to look back on it because I'm going to pick up all the adult stuff, and I don't want that.
I also didn't like that show. I thought it was stupid.
Man, I have to like hard. I'll agree with you for the first like 3 seasons where nothing was really going on, but like once the plot kicked in, I'm like, oh my god, this is great.
See, people give me trash for liking One Piece and it taking a while. If it takes 3 seasons for plot to start,
Okay, hold on. One Piece plot doesn't kick in for like at least 100 episodes, at least.
No, it has plot pretty early on.
Well,
I'd say
okay.
right once they meet Sanji, then the story picks up.
I disagree, but only because I know things that happen in Wano were like foreshadowed in chapter 2, so I'm like, that's a little different.
Okay, but the funny part is even Oda's like, no, I just like remembered this eventually, and remember to put it back in.
God damn
So
it,
even
Oda.
he wasn't like planning that far ahead.
God damn it, Oda. One Piece does not get good for a very long time, and then it doesn't get great for 200 to 300 episodes. Like once Water 7 kicks off, I'm like, this shit is fucking amazing.
Whoa, you're gonna do Alabasta like that?
I forget. Okay, Alabasta was on Toonami. This was when I was floating in and out of having cable, so I don't know. The people named after days and numbers, and I don't fucking Vivi. No, that's all I got. I don't even think it's the right arc.
Alabasta was good. Yeah, you were right. That was the right arc.
Listen, I don't remember none of that shit. The last thing that I remember happening in One Piece is Robin going, I would like to live, and them going, we got you. That's it.
Dang, that was like 500 episodes ago.
Yeah, nah, fuck that. Adventure Time, once the Lich King pops up, it's like, where the fuck we gonna go from here?
Oh,
That's in like season 3.
A cartoon with fucking adult content, and not in a sexual way, but Steven Universe.
Also, I don't like that show.
If you haven't watched that show is extremely deep and like talks about super serious issues while still being a show that kids can enjoy.
I mean, I feel like Steven Universe is the same thing as Adventure Time for him. You gotta wait for it to get good.
Also, the art, I don't like it.
Art style is very well, no, it's all right. It could be a lot worse. I've seen
just very soft, and
that's fine.
Bothers me.
Listen, okay, all right. Another side tangent. All these shows we're talking about come out of Cal Arts Institute, and they don't really teach their students different art styles. So that's why most cartoons
depressing.
look the same. So there you go, more fourth wall breaking for you.
Yeah, I need stuff that's not all round.
You should watch anime then, or like Mexican, Italian, or Canadian cartoons.
Oh, that makes me remember like 16 and Total
16
Drama Island.
Yep, those are Canadian.
And whatever that weird surfing show was, that was just
Stoked.
like 16.
Stoked. It's made by the same people. You know, that's all. It's all Canada.
Yep. And then,
but go ahead.
I'm sure it was not made in Mexico, but Luchadors.
Lucha.
No. Yeah, Mucha Lucha.
No, that was
That
not made in Mexico.
That was a good show, though.
Because Code Lyoko is from France, which is from Italy, and then China does whatever the fuck it wants to do. I don't like Ladybug. I like the voice actress because she was nice to me, but I don't care for the show.
My wife likes it.
I haven't watched it.
It's not bad. It's just not for me.
It's very very like it feels very like 90s Magic Girl-y.
Oh, okay.
I'll just watch Sailor Moon. They got better drip.
Oh, they got such good drip.
Some of the costumes in Ladybug are pretty cool looking.
Well, since you brought that up, all right, let's talk about anime and how shit just got super fucking horny after like 2010? 9?
I don't know. Some even before that, some stuff was like super horny. But
okay,
like extra horny was like 2015.
No. We'll get there. Oh, trust me, we'll get there. Because fun fact, the dude that made the mecha genre also made the ecchi genre, and I'm like, I hate that. That is an amazing fact that I fucking hate to my core. So, okay. So, in the 90s, way back when, you had not necessarily horny, but like, boobs are cool.
Do you
and then you
remember
had shonen. Go ahead.
Do you remember if in the original Dragon Ball anime, like, I'm talking Dragon Ball without the Z, if they showed Bulma's boobs?
I mean, she
I know
had
in the manga
them,
they did.
I mean, okay, in the anime, no, she had them, but they didn't show them. They showed her panties because Goku's a fucking idiot child.
Because I know in the manga they showed her in the shower and like full on.
Well, yes, that's because Japan doesn't really. We'll get to that. We'll get to manga later, maybe. Now I'm tired. But we had like super driven towards 90s and 80s kids. We got violence, we got action, we got the hero story, but more action. That was your top three things. And then the shoujo era was like, girls can do things too. You're like, yeah, Sailor Moon does do things. Everything else is a rom-com or a drama. All right, it's 2000. What else we got? We're tired of boys fighting each other for XYZ reason. Sir, we see boobs have, like, taken off. What if we made them bigger?
I was going to say 2000s was big boobs and more men fighting each other.
Don't remind me. And then in like 2005, when the golden age of anime started, and we got softer art styles, not softer, more saturated is not the right word, more contrasty, angular, but also soft art styles. They were like, hey, Sunrise, people that make Gundam, we need you to animate this show with this girl. Not Sunrise, Gainax. Yeah, Gainax. People that make Ava. My bad. I mixed up my giant robots.
You're gonna have some angry people.
Fuck them people. Listen, I like Ava to a degree. Past a certain point, it's stupid. Also, someone give Ano a hug. He needs it. Preferably a woman, since he's so fucking stupid. People at Gainax, we need you to animate women. They went, okay. Hey, boss, women's boobs jiggle when they walk, right? Yeah, it'd be weird if they didn't, right? Yeah, let's make their boobs jiggle when they walk. Person who's doing the key animation, I'm gonna make this boob jiggle really, really realistic. Not realistic, but very, very pronounced.
I was gonna say realistic. Are you sure? That's the
beginning of the Dead or Alive boob jiggle.
That didn't happen until fucking, when did DOA 3 come out? I don't, let's not get in. We'll get into video games later. Maybe.
That came out in 2002.
What? DOA
Dead or
3?
Alive 3. Yeah.
It was on the original Xbox, so it would have been on the PS2.
Oh, I didn't have an Xbox. I had a GameCube because I was poor.
But yeah, 2002.
But yeah, everyone who saw the stuff Gainax was making, are we allowed to make the boobs all jiggly like that in our shows too? Trigger, I got you. We gonna make them all jiggle. Sir, this woman's flat-chested. We gonna make them jiggle anyway. But sir, nigga, you wanna get fired? Alright, my bad. Alright, team, figure out how to make this flat-chested girl chest jiggle. And then it just like nosedive. Let's just make everything kind of horny and see what happens, because that's what this new budding age of teenage boys want. They have their parents' money and part-time jobs. They'll buy our manga and watch our anime, and we'll get into video games later. And it just never stopped.
Well, and even like they especially have the market of the older, like, working gentlemen as well.
Man, let's not talk about that.
I know, that can go into some dark places, but like, you know, it wasn't just the younger people. Like the older people were also suddenly like, oh yeah, like, I'm horny.
Here's
this.
our adult money.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you wanna put up a vending machine that sells used panties? Yeah, we'll buy them.
I'm just not that tired. But yes, while Japan was like titties, ass shots, very, very strange cinematography that kind of works. America was like, how do we merchandise all of our toys so kids will buy them? Oh, the kids aren't buying toys, cancel the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just over here like, y'all want to do what Japan's doing? And they're like, no, sex is bad. And I'm like,
nope.
okay.
We're Hasbro, and we design the toys first and then make the show.
I mean, to be fair, like, America may have been pointed at toys and Japan apparently at sex. There were a lot of shonen comic manga that got canceled way too soon.
Okay, that's due to poor sales and shitty storytelling. Like, I have a whole Mother's Basement video about canceled Shonen Jump manga, and I'm like, I went back and read some of them. Some of them are really fucking bad. The other ones
Zombie
just
Powder
are
was
boring.
good though. Zombie Powder, Zombie Rings, something like that.
Do you know the video I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Do you watch Mother's Basement?
Yeah.
Why are you stupid?
Why am I stupid?
Yes.
'Cause I'm me. Zombie Powder, yeah. That was good. And then I realized it ended, and I'd never get more. And I wanted to cry.
Do you know?
It was good.
Minka, if we ever meet, I need you to give me a hug, because he's killing me over here.
I'll give you.
I immediately, like, I watch Mother's Basement videos and go, what's that word mean? What's that word mean? What's that word mean? Expand vocabulary. Got it.
I get most of what he talks about.
But yeah, like, talking about Japan, again, this came up in a previous episode, but part of me does wonder if it also has to do with how young the United States is as a nation.
I give you that 100%.
Because yeah, like, we're still babies in the world platform, and you know, so you look at all these other countries where they're like, okay, tits can be sexual, but also, like, they are a part of the body. So, you know, in Europe, you have statues all over the place that are naked women and everything, and nobody freaks out. But, like, if you were to put up a statue like that in America, you know, the 1 million moms, which is like 5 people, would go crazy about it. Because apparently...
Why they gotta be moms?
Because the 1 million moms is that group that tries to act like they're a huge amount of moms, and really they're just a tiny amount. But
are they single moms? Hold on, let's talk.
They're not the kind you want. I promise.
Listen. They don't have to be nice. Actually, no. Never mind. Continue.
I was like, yeah, they're conservative. They're, yeah. But
that means they probably like the kinkier stuff then.
Yeah, but they probably don't like black people then.
Hey, Matt. Let me be quiet. Let me not say that. Let me not have a recording of me saying that.
But yeah, like, you know, so over here it's like, oh no, like, there's the whole thing about breastfeeding in public. It's like, oh, don't you dare show, you know, your nipple or your tit in public.
Bro, why you get to see? It's free titty. Why would you not want to?
Well, and it's like, it is not required, but it is a natural part of life that, you know, many moms do. So why does it need to be all taboo? And the reason is just because the woman body has been so sexualized that our natural parts, you know, are not able to be shown because that's only for sex or only for this.
Again, I said it in the break. I fucking hate it here sometimes, man. How do we transition into video games?
Dead or
we
Alive.
go back to Dead or Alive.
Well,
With
okay.
The most amazing boob physics.
Okay.
Dead or Alive has the most realistic boob physics. Said
I
no
can't
one
threaten
ever.
you like that because I don't know where you live.
Said no one ever. Let me finish.
I know.
Jesus.
I mean, he said it, unironically.
You know. That's why I was rebuttaling with the said no one ever.
Hey, boobs.
It's like
That's all I got.
I don't want to talk about like American video games because they don't suck. That's not what we're here for. They also aren't aggressively horny. Besides a handful. Leisure Suit Larry. Fucking words. Words are hard.
Leisure.
Yeah,
Suit
the 90s were horny for America. That was about it.
But
as
like,
far as video games.
Okay, I have a copy of Atelier Ryza 2 on my desk because I'm playing it before 3 comes out so I can know what the fuck's going on in the story.
Okay.
90% of her legs are just exposed on the cover. Because for some reason, when did this game come out?
I did see that her thighs have continued to get thicker.
They have, and it's crazy. It's like the funniest thing because I'm like, that's not how the body works. That is how the body works. It's not how the body works. Okay, so in between the development of like regular Japanese games and Ryza, and somewhere between Nier as well, Japan was like, okay, titties are cool, but what about butts and thighs? And I'm over here like, oh no, oh no, it's coming, and not in the good way. For some reason, whatever the reason, Japan was like, yes, we're going to focus on butts and thighs. Everyone's like, what about boobs? And they're like, go play literally any other game. I'm like, fair. I don't understand why they were like, hey, in Ryza 1, we've got this underage girl. I'm like, internet, calm down. Please stop. I like Ryza. She's a cinnamon roll. It's stupid, but cinnamon roll. And then Ryza 2 came out, and they're like, oh, it's been X amount of months. She's 18 now. And I'm like, all right, go ahead, internet, do your thing. I don't care. Whatever. Nah. And, like, there was an explosion of art because she was now legal. I'm like, it's a fictional character, though, so who the fuck cares?
Right.
And, like, Japan went back to focusing on boobs because I have 7 Pirates H, which the main mechanic of the game, make characters' boobs bigger will make them stronger. I shit you not.
I need this game.
Do you have a Switch?
Yes.
It is $40. How much is this game?
Oh, that's one thing that can kind of go back to like anime, but also has to do with games, is like a lot of the weird censorship that has happened for games to come from Japan and anime over to America. Like, having to remove certain topics, certain things, like the whole thing with Pokemon where they never brought over the episode where James cross-dresses in the like bikini competition.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen so much porn of that episode. It's crazy.
But yeah, like it's the same thing with games for a long time because like there were a lot of Japanese games that were more sexual or even porn games that they would be brought over and then were like heavily censored. And then I do remember Nintendo at one point, I think it wasn't until the Switch, that they were like, do you know what, we're going to allow adult content, which I've heard they recently...
It's on the Switch.
I've heard they recently actually have kind of backed off from that and might be censoring a few things again. But...
their own first and second party IPs, yes.
Okay, so maybe that...
Stuff that they don't make, they don't give a fuck about.
Because it was, I think... I want to say it was about Bayonetta, so that would probably make sense.
Okay, so yes, because they have... Okay, so they don't own Bayonetta, they just publish Bayonetta. They literally gave Platinum the money to make it, so they have a saying what can and can't be in the game.
Okay.
So that's a second party thing, so that's where that comes from.
Okay.
But like, in Bravely Default, I don't remember what class it is, and I'm not looking through 8 years of Jaywit's videos, even though I love the man. They censored one of Agnes's tops in one of her classes, and I'm like, who cares? This is pixel. These are pixels on a 3DS.
Yeah, sometimes the decisions
no one cares
in the censoring are weird. But even with Steam, like, they only finally started allowing adult games in like 2018, 2019.
That's crazy.
You want to, I'm gonna throw, I think I've said this before, I'm gonna throw y'all for a fucking, y'all don't watch anime, fuck. People who have seen Clannad. Fun fact, Clannad was an eroge before it was like a super wholesome anime, and that blows people's fucking minds. So if you've seen Clannad, you know it's super happy, wholesome. A few of the characters, once after story happens, can 100% get it. And Nagisa's mom, But yeah, no, that was a porn game before it was super wholesome. And I'm like, huh? But, excuse me?
Yeah, like before these companies started to allow these types of things in America, like, you know, the only stuff you could find was like web browser based stuff half the time.
Games.
Yeah. And, you know, they finally have been like, oh, you guys want to buy these? Like, you will pay us money and we'll get money from this, and you're adults, and so like there's no actual issue with you buying these? Okay, cool.
Fair. I want to talk about shitty sex game flash games for a second.
Okay.
Like, I don't know when I discovered them, but they were everywhere. And I'm like, titties are cool, but I don't want to have to do all this work to see titties when I could just type in titties on my keyboard and get the same result faster. But like, they were a back, not the back, but they were like a supporting rib of the porn on the internet culture for a while, and I feel like they don't get the recognition they deserve because they're so bad sometimes. But like, man,
oh yeah, the internet becoming public and more accessible is probably the best thing that ever happened to the porn industry.
Go ahead. We've talked about.
I feel like this is a good segue into what I brought up pre-podcast recording.
Yeah, you want to talk about fucking Photoshop? Explain yourself, because that shit didn't make no sense to me. It makes sense, but it don't make no sense to me.
Well, because you didn't explain what you were talking about, I went on my own little adventure.
Fucking figured it out real quick.
Well, I'm stupid.
You said it, not me, but you're right.
Jesus.
Yeah, tell me I'm wrong. You figured it out with a very minimum. I didn't even explain what I wanted to say. You figured it out. I'm like, yeah, she's smart. She figured it out. Which is why I don't have to explain most of my shit to you. You just know. I'm like, this is great.
Which is why I get extra confused when I don't understand you, because I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Okay. Well, similar vein of like stealing people's nudes and junk online. I feel like sexualizing somebody's picture to the point of photoshopping it into a way to make them sexier or hotter is also borderline not okay.
I would agree. I feel like it's an unconsensual sexual act of sorts.
Like, it's definitely not as bad as like stealing somebody's nudes and like stealing their livelihood, but photoshopping somebody to have like huge boobs, as much as I love them, without consent, and then finding out you did it without their consent feels very wrong.
Can I throw in my 2 cents real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So like, that's not in my Twitter sphere, so I don't see it, so I forget that shit exists. Because I was really gonna be like, who the fuck is out here doing that? I was like, oh no, wait, that was a thing.
It's still on the whole side of the internet.
Listen, I'd stay away from that side of the internet because I'm like, this is way too uncanny valley. Please stop.
Well, I remember Beetle being on and talking about how like in his community and like local or in the adjoining communities, like they've completely banned morphs.
How
the fuck do you remember that? I know he was on, and we talked about that. I don't remember.
I don't know.
That conversation.
I forget a lot of things, and then I remember specific weird little things.
Yeah, he in his community they've slightly backed off that rule, because I guess they must have had like people taking shots of like actually random strangers on the internet or like out in the real world and trying to get them morphed.
So much effort and time.
And they've kind of just backed it up to if it's of a celebrity, it's okay, but not some random girl you knew in high school. That's creepy.
Mind you,
people out here talking to people on Facebook. Friends.
Mind you, I do feel that pretty much all celebrities are complete idiots and out of touch with the real world. But
hey, you leave Keanu alone.
Okay, no, aside from Keanu is a god, and he is to be worshipped and admired.
And Brendan Fraser, I guess he's cool too.
And Jack Black.
Yeah.
Okay, Jack Black is the only reason I'm going to go see that godforsaken Mario movie. And whoever the fuck's voicing Toad, that's it.
I can't. Chris Pratt was too awful.
That shit pissed.
That was so bad.
He didn't lie when he said this would be a Mario we've never heard before. And someone's like counterpoint of that was, could you imagine listening to Charles Martinet's high voice for 2 hours straight? And I was like, shit.
Yeah,
but
like,
no, I make audio, not edits, but I process audio. I'm like, no, you can pitch shift them down a little bit, so it's not,
he sounds like Lisa from Bob's Burgers, though.
I'm not gonna argue with you on that, but
I'm still in the third party of we need to hire a real voice actor, but not Charles Martinet.
Like, I love Charles, he's super nice, but his voice is a little too high for like full on sentences. But again, he can be pitch shift down.
But Chris Pratt is just terrible at it.
He's just talking.
Yeah. I didn't realize how bad it was until I listened to the trailer. And then I was like, that's just Chris Pratt.
But yeah. The visuals of that movie are just so good. So good. That movie looks amazing.
Okay.
And then Jack Black saved the man. After that trailer came out, there was so much porn of Peach getting fucked by Bowser, and I'm like, Chris Pratt, this is your fault.
I've seen a picture of Jack Black drawn as Bowsette. It was amazing.
It was pretty fucking good. And I think he even retweeted it, and I was like, hell yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
To be fair, I feel like you haven't been around that side of the internet much, because the Bowser Peach ship is like super strong.
Okay, but there was way more of it after the trailer came out.
Like quadrupled the amount out of nowhere.
I'm fine with this because Pokemon, so I'm like, this is nothing new to me, but where's Rosalina? I want to see Rosalina. And everyone's like, what? I'm like, I like Rosalina.
She's not coming to the movies anytime soon, that's for sure.
You don't know that.
Anyway,
you don't know what the fuck this movie's about.
Going back to it, yeah, like, even though most celebrities are shitty people, like, they still have the same right to consent as anybody else. And
well, I do also mean not even celebrities. I also mean, like, so last week...
Jade Animations.
Well, that her too. But last week, one of the Twitter pages I follow makes morphs of women to have huge boobs. And it was just some random, like, cosplayer / Twitch streamer girl who was just morphed with huge boobs. And she's like, hey, you could have asked first. I would have said yes, but still, it would have been nice to be asked. Oh, wow,
that's rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap, what? Wow. And I was like, you would have actually said yes? And she's like, I like big boobs. So, yeah.
Well,
like, it would have been nice to be asked or tagged first.
Like, I'm the kind of person where it's like, if there was something out there of me and, like, somebody wanted to masturbate to it or something, if I was asked, I'd be like, sure. But, like, you know, there still is that line of consent where if somebody is taking...
All right, hold on. I'm going to stop you right there. Hold on. I do not want anyone asking me, hey, I saw this picture of you online. Can I masturbate to it? Yes, you have my permission. Don't come fucking tell me. I don't want to know.
Well, right, and like masturbating to something is a bit different because, but like if someone were to like come to me and be like, oh hey, like have this picture of you that I really liked, but like I changed it up a bit and I made your boobs bigger and all of that kind of stuff. That's where, yeah, for me it would be like I would be the same, where it's like I probably would have told you yes, but like the fact that you did it without asking me first is kind of weird. Because consent is obviously an important part of everything, but especially when it comes to anything sexual, consent is very important. Because, like, no one is entitled to anyone else's bodies or to how they look. And
it's definitely one of those things where I feel like sexualizing people is normal for the most part. But doing it in private on your own and putting it then in public for other people to enjoy are two different things.
I would agree. I feel like that's where the biggest issue comes from, is when it's made public. Because if somebody's going to do something on their own and keep it private, you're probably never going to know about it, and that's kind of a gray area. But as soon as something's made public, like, yeah, it has potential to ruin people's lives.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I was kind of going with the whole sexualization of media thing, is people sexualizing people in ways that the original person never intended or wanted to be public. If that makes sense, Alt.
I mean, it does. It's just that's not in my wheelhouse, so I don't really look at that, you know.
Yeah, that's a my side of the internet thing. I get that.
Well, pretty big on those breast expansion sites.
Yeah. And just the, in general, more thirst trap-y stuff.
Is that...
The one thing that I was going to just mention briefly is with the sexualization of media and everything, like, you can often tell what kind of new technology is going to make it by where porn goes to. Because, you know, like, it went to VHS. VHS was around for a long time. Then it went to DVD. DVD was around for a long time. And then, you know, it's
Blu-ray.
obviously it was on
Ultra, DVD, and then Blu-ray.
And then, you know, like, it obviously, the internet, it went crazy. And now VR, like, they've adapted to go to the VR. So it's kind of an interesting evolution of sexualization with media to follow kind of where porn goes.
I mean, have either of you seen the Cyberpunk anime?
I have not watched Edge Runners yet.
Are you talking about the whole Rebecca being lolly versus not a lolly?
No,
thing?
one, she's not a lolly. She's just fucking short. And a stupid fucking idiot. For other reasons. No, so when we meet the doctor that does things to David, not sex things, just things that I don't want to spoil, to David, he is literally in a VR headset with a thing on his dick, and I'm like, oh yeah.
And
I guess porn would progress to that point where you just get a thing for your...
It already has. That already exists.
Yeah, but this is in cyberpunk land, so it's way better.
I mean, that's true, but... like,
yeah, Minka, you gotta travel like 50 years in the future and then think about it.
Like, I imagine we'll hit a point where, you know, there will be full haptic suits, and, like, porn will take advantage of that.
Hold on. Side note, David's mom is really hot, and we just didn't talk about that in the show at all.
But yeah, you know, like, that, it is, I think porn will continue to seize opportunities with new technology. And so I don't think porn is ever going to go away. And I'd like to think that most porn nowadays is healthier than it used to be, because, you know, being in the porn industry used to meant you were addicted to drugs, you were not always there consensually, and unfortunately that stuff does still go on sometimes, but hopefully, you know, overall it's gotten better and there's much more consent and willing volunteers.
Just make an OnlyFans. And do collabs. Fuck it. There you go. Porn. Future porn. OnlyFans.
I mean, yeah, OnlyFans almost took that down, and everybody was like, no, this is what you're for. And they were like, you know what? You guys are right. We'll find another bank to make a deal with.
Now, if only we could make banks realize how much money sex makes.
Right? The banks are usually why things get shut down.
Feel as though Chime, Wisely, and PayPal just need to go AO. Just come to us. We'll take like 2%. Do your thing. Fuck it. Who cares? Boom, done.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like a lot of the big banks in America are either owned, created, or often controlled by fairly conservative people.
All right, final call. Last call. That's what it's called. Yeah, I go to bars. Yeah, totally.
Yes, we are definitely social creatures.
Yup. Don't spend 12 hours a day at work. Nope, not at all.
I think we're good. We covered everything. Somehow even got my topics in, so.
I mean, the last call is for any last things you want to talk about or bring up.
I know, I'm saying I think we're good. Minka, you think we covered everything?
I think we've hit everything that I can think of at the moment.
My throat hurts, so I am done. Y'all got any final words to say?
You already asked that, but okay.
I just keep pushing for more sexual freedom. Don't be afraid to be openly sexual if it doesn't risk your job.
And don't steal people's livelihoods, and don't morph people and put it out there in public.
If you break consent, I will break you.
All right, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks with a guest. I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Depends on how the schedule pans out. I don't know. But yeah. If you liked what you heard, consider giving us a follow on Twitter or Facebook if people still use that. We have a Discord you can join that's also linked somewhere. And we also have a Patreon that you can support us to help us do future endeavors that we can't talk about yet.
Yeah, we should have a guest. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.